Szanowni Państwo, serdecznie witamy po krótkiej przerwie na Polskim Forum Żywności Ekologicznej. W tym roku Polskie Forum Żywności Ekologicznej finansowanej odbywa się w ramach projektu Przestaw się na eko, szukaj Euroliścia, dofinansowanego przez Unię Europejską. Przed nami druga część panelu, bardzo ciekawa, będzie się toczyła w języku angielskim. Tytuł to Tworzymy rynek eko. Dotyczy to rynku bio w Europie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Polish Organic Forum after the short break. The forum is a part of the project Switch to Organic, organized by Polish Chamber of Organic Food, funded by European Union. I invite you to listen to the second part of the panel, Recreate the Eco Market, focusing on organic market in Europe. This part of the Congress will be in English. Na dobry początek zapraszam panią Krystynę Radkowską, prezeskę Polskiej Izby Żywności Ekologicznej, która opowie o rynku bio w Polsce. For a good start, I would like to invite Krystyna Radkowska, who is the president of the Polish Chamber of Organic Food. She will present us the organic market in Poland. Krystyna, welcome on stage.
Hello. So good morning, my name is Krystyna Radkowska and I'm the president of Polish Chamber of Organic Food, which has the pleasure to organize the Polish Forum of Organic Food during the BIOEXPO first. Last year, the Polish Chamber of Organic Food prepared a report on the organic food market in Poland. It is the first report that approaches this issue so widely and covers agriculture, sales, production, consumer needs and trends. Yes, that's me. The full version of this report is available on our website, języku.com. The report shows where are we now with the organic market, and thanks to it, we can compare organic Polish market with the world and European organic market. So let's start with the world data. We have 187 countries with organic statistics, more than 70 million hectares that are doing with organic certification. Only 16 countries with 10% or higher share of organic lands, and 15 countries between 5 and 10%. More than 3 million producers with organic certification, and global organic market value is around 100 billion. What about Europe? These are the data from 2019, so hopefully it's better now. In Europe, we have more than 60 million hectares with organic certification. More than 8% of arable area in EU is organic. And we had almost 6% growth between 2018 and 2019. We have almost 350,000 organic producers in the European Union, and organic food sales in detail was 40 billion euros. So what about Poland? These are data from our report of 2021. In nutshell, we estimate Polish market value for around 400 million euro. We have more than 80,000 organic farms. We have more than 1,000 organic processors, but we have only 3.5% of organic share in arable land. This is also the comparison of Poland and world. One data that is, I think, very important and shows the gap between Poland and the rest of Europe is to compare that average Pole spends annually per per year. When, in the same time, a person from Denmark spends about 350 euro per capita a year. So we have 9th place in terms of the size of organic fields. We have 7th place in terms of the number of farms and processing plants, and we have 14th place in terms of the organic food value. We have an uptrend, about 10% per year. It's a big increase, which shows that this market attracts attention in line with global trends. Although the number of organic farms, as you can see, has slightly decreased in the last few years, this is not the result of falling market demand, but of changes in regulations that tighten the flow of subsidies for organic production. In short, the number of organic farmers has not decreased, but mostly those who wanted to use grants by taking advantages of loophole in the regulations have been eliminated. We have constant growth of e-commerce. I think it was seen in whole Europe during the pandemic days. And basically, I think these trends are similar in Poland and in the rest of Europe and world. Where do we buy organic and how much do we spend? The sales channels in Poland are very diverse. It is estimated that roughly half of the retail sales take place in chains and discounts. Internet sales raised a lot during the pandemic, but especially stores and ecological markets have also a fairly strong position in Poland. The average receipt value from an organic food store is about 75 zloty, which is less than 18 euro. And who buys organic food? More and more often, people who buy organic food emphasize environmental and ethical issues. Polish and also European consumers are looking for quality for a good price. They accept higher prices for a product that fulfill their expectations. More and more consumers appreciate such values as environment, animal welfare, and supporting local economy. The interest in made in Poland products is growing. Consumers are also interested in shortening the food chain. They want to buy food direct from organic farmers. This year we have prepared the research about who and why buy organic food. We mostly worked with the group of millennials and Generation Z because in our previous research we realized that these are two groups that are actually buying most in Poland organic food. As we can see, there are slight differences in the results of those two groups. While millennials buy organic food for their health, Generation Z is buying more and more for the environmental and animal welfare goods. How often do we buy in Poland? Half of Poles do not buy organic food yet at all. In fact, it applies to different age groups. We can see that those who buy more often are between 25 and 55. But we can buy more. 65% of respondents admit they would buy more organic food if they didn't have to take into consideration the costs. Women who are concerned for their health as well as their loved ones and who believe that organic products are safe are among the people who buy organic food the most. And one slide that has to be like this because of our European Union grant, and I had to remove all the logos. In our in our research, we showed to Poles different logos, and we asked them, how do you know this is bio? Which logo is a logo of bio food or organic food? And imagine that in Poland only 28.4% of people showed the Euroleaf. The rest thought that it's maybe Poland, maybe vegan, maybe without GMO, and different, many other logos we showed them. They really don't recognize this logo. And I think this is a very serious problem of Poland. We don't know why organic food, we don't know how to distinguish it from other food. So we have a lot of educational campaigns in Poland to do. So, thank you. To sum up, the organic food market in Poland our market in Poland is developing very dynamically, but it is still far from the European market. I hope that in the coming years the gap indicated in my presentation will decrease and the Polish consumer will gain trust in organic food, and that is actually why we have this debate, because now I would like to invite speakers representing countries where organic food is already recognizable and the bio market is well established. They are representatives from Austria, Denmark, Netherlands, and representatives of IFOAM Organics Europe. And I think Karol will invite one by one, and then I invite you to a debate. We will try to figure out how did they manage to be where they are now.
Dziękuję Ci, Krystyna, za przedstawienie polskiej perspektywy, jeżeli chodzi o rynek żywności ekologicznej. Teraz przyjrzymy się perspektywie europejskiej, o której opowie Pani Joanna Wierzbicka, przedstawicielka IFOAM Organics Europe, Europejskiej Federacji reprezentującej aktorów łańcucha dostaw produktów ekologicznych. Thank you for sharing the Polish experience. Now let's take a look at the European perspective, which will be discussed by Joanna Wierzbicka, Strategic Development Manager in IFOAM Organics Europe, the European Federation representing the entire organic supply chain.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Krystyna and the organizers for inviting IFOAM Organics Europe. I'm Polish. I was born in Podlaska region, so I really like coming to Warsaw. It's my third time here at the BIOEXPO, so I'm very happy to be here. In my presentation, I will first guide you through key figures of the European market and show how IFOAM Organics Europe, that is the organization bringing together organic food chain, supports market development, and what were the key factors of success, because this is also the topic of our debate today. Let's first look at figures. You see the 44.9 billion. This is the organic retail in the EU, so not Europe, EU. Britain was still there. It was 2020 data. You can also scan the code and arrive to the digital publication and look at all the countries. What I would like to bring your attention that in Europe this value is 52 billion, and if you look at the increase between 2011 and 2020 of the EU, this 151%, so it doubled and then grew even further. Of course, market is supply and demand, so also the supply is very important here. 14.9 million hectares of organic land in 2020. We are in Poland, so if you want to imagine the number of hectares, organic hectares in the EU is half of Poland today, and in 2010 it was 1/3. Here, an important slide highlight or interesting information about general retailers, that in those countries in Europe they have much higher sales and also growing more rapidly than the specialized organic shops. If we look at Austria, Denmark and Switzerland, you can see the first three bars are the general retailers, so like Aldi, Lidl, Rewe, and they sell much more food than specialized shops in those countries. And I'm pretty sure that the colleagues from Austria and Denmark will explain it a little bit more. But this, one of the reasons is the availability of organic food and when the consumer searches for. Here, important thing to talk about when we talk about the market is the common agriculture policy and one of the work that we are doing. You can here see the scenarios to 2030. So what has to happen to reach 25% of organic land in the EU? Now we are here, it's 9%, and if now each country had to propose the national plan. If we go with those national plan happens according to the plan, we can reach 21, but we can still reach 25 in 2020. One of the requirements is that the CAP support, so the Common Agriculture Policy support, needs to triple or even become 5 times higher. Here you can scan the logo, the code, and then you have analysis per country. I try to zoom Poland here, and you have detailed reports what has to be done to reach that scenario. And so what contributed to the growth of organic? We all know that, so I will not go in details to that, but important point was what Krystyna already mentioned in her presentation. It was the consumer awareness about organic food. Then policy. Organic was recognized officially as a solution to address environmental, social, economic challenges, so that was part of work in 2020 biodiversity strategies. At the same time, COVID-19 came and the sales grew. We know, for instance, in Germany, the supermarkets by 20%. Now there is a war in Ukraine, economic crisis, so we don't know how the market will react, what will happen. But this is one of the crucial points also for the organic market. Now, if I talk about IFOAM Organics Europe, so a federation that brings together organic actors, how we contributed, how we tried to support this market success. I have to tell that I realized this morning that we grew exactly the same way as the organic market. In 2010, we were 10 people. Today, we are 25 people, so it's 150%. It's exactly the same, so let's see how we further grow. Our key successes, I try to summarize the main one. The 25% target for organic land was one of our contribution to advocacy work and demands for 10 last years to recognize organic farming as a solution and put concrete programs to support that, especially in the Common Agricultural Policy. Also, what we achieved, I think that's something moved, but I will try to tell it. We achieved negotiating 30% of the budget for research in the EU will go now for organic and topic related to organic, so that all the research programs, they can, for instance, I can give an example like organic seeds. If there is a research need to make organic seeds more available, organic inputs, this will be available, so money for that will be available. Again, 40, also one of the successes was 49 million for the promotion of organic products. So we were asking specifically for concrete amounts that Commission allocates, and in 2021 all the projects that were submitted, they received the funding. Now we also ask for specific amounts, although we know from the Commission that not enough projects were submitted, and they might decrease it or extend it to more like organic and sustainable approaches. Policy is one of the points. So of course, market is a market and it's based on free economy, but we try to lobby and support that market with specific initiatives, as I mentioned. But we also, one of the points where we support our operators and members is specific information and data that we produce for them. For instance, this is an example of EU regulation guide. This, how to say, an organic regulation translated to a human language, where we can find and access all the information about different sectors, organic poultry, prime production, processing. We now also produce 2 additional ones. It's not updated here, but this is the information where each operator can access and see what exactly each article means in practice. And of course, producing data and analysis and information for our members so they can make better decisions at the national level that can support that market. Because again, market is based on the economy, free economy, but the policy makers, policy can support it greatly through different initiatives to help this market grow. Here you have again the code that you can access, different studies to see what they're about. And I think one key recipe for success is the one voice of the organic movement, especially what I mean here is the same voice, exchanging information, creating things together, exchanging what went well, what went wrong, what can work. So something else like Krystyna is trying also to do today. So we do it at the EU level, and all the positions, all the papers, demands that we produce together with the organic operators. And I think that this platform, discussion platform, it's a key to our success and how we can achieve and better or like higher organic presence in the EU. And talking about that strategic direction, so key points, how we can achieve, how we can help contributing to the EU Green Deal and the Farm to Fork strategy to the objectives, what are the concrete steps that we can take together as the movement. If you would like to know more, please go on the website, and I especially encourage you to check this one, Organics Europe 2030 BIO, where you can find different initiatives across Europe, how different countries do what they do to support the market growth. Also, I encourage you to submit your initiative, because if you have something good that worked, that is worth sharing and inspire other people, please submit it and we will publish that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Przenieśmy się teraz do Austrii. O sytuacji na austriackim rynku żywności ekologicznej opowie nam pan Thomas Reś z austriackiego Ministerstwa Rolnictwa. Now let's move to Austria. A representative of Austrian Ministry of Agriculture will talk shortly about the situation in this country. Thomas Reś.
Okay, I'm a little farmer today, and I want to sell my apples. These are really good apples from my garden. I didn't spray it, and always they get the dung of my chickens. They don't look really nice, but they are expensive. And I want to sell it to you. You want to sell it? They are organic, of course they are organic, but I cannot see it. I promise you, you must trust me. These are organic. Okay, I trust you maybe, but control is better. I don't see a certificate. Certificate? What do you mean? Control body, control authority and regulation 848. Never heard of it. Okay, I think I will go better to the supermarket where they have a certification. Okay, this little theater piece for me was just an entrance to the value chain. We talked a lot with my colleagues about value chains. It starts at the farm and ends at the fork. From farm to fork, and between the steps from farm to fork, there are a lot of obstacles. The apple is what I forgot. Do you have apple jam? No. Do you have an apple schnapps? No. Do you have an apple juice? No. That's not good, because you need everything of it. And then I have written down keywords. And I had time, 2 hours, waiting for the conference to think about these keywords. And the center of this keyword was for me availability. You can't buy it only when it is there, and when it is produced, and when it is processed, and when it is transported. So you need a lot of steps to get to this availability. The next thing is, we talk about it, is consumer trust. If the consumer says, organic, it sounds nice, but I don't trust it, they spray in the night, it's a difference. Many things. And then you need to have public relations for the consumers and schools, for the pupils, and of course courses for the farmers to learn to handle this value chain. But let's go. Manage it. Yeah. You know this, I don't want to explain it anymore. Development, you see, we are very optimistic what comes in the future, and it will grow and grow and grow. You see here the percentages, what we have is excellent. No. It's just what we are thinking it goes on. In the next years it will grow and grow. Now, success factors for organic agriculture, this is what you may be expecting of me. Are farmers committed? If you're an organic farmer, you have 2 reasons. You get more money, or you think it's better for your health to produce organically. Then, what we are talking about, there must be a supply and demand. If your products are not demanded, then forget it. Then you need the instruments that your products are demanded. Then there are multiple strategies for marketing. This is in the first step in Austria. The supermarket chains, 80% of the turnaround of organic products are in the supermarkets. Common rules, everybody must be clear what is organic. And then we have an action program. We have every 5 years a new action program for organic farms, and the action program has the measures how to promote organic farming and products. Here is a little bit more in detail. Farmers which are committed, then you need the extension service, advisory systems, you need the supply, mostly done in Austria by the supermarkets. Then you need to inform the consumer what means organic. And this is a very important point. Why do people buy? Because they think or they know that this product is better, or they feel it. And we started in Austria with an advertisement on the TV of Rewe with a little pig. And the little pig goes to the farmer and says, dear farmer, I'm such a happy pig, and I'm so happy that I can live on your farm, and I'm organic pig. And everybody knows this pig and goes to the shop and buys organic products because the pig was so lovely and I feel it must be good for me. But nothing to do. Another thing is, for instance, typically advertisement, I don't know if you have it in Poland, but I think, Red Bull, it gives you wings. Such a nonsense. But it works. Common rule. We started to talking about an agricultural policy. My job in the Ministry of Agriculture is just to spend money for different measures. Measures like organic for the farms, or investments, and investments on the farm or in the plants, or investments for real estate. We have a lot of money in Austria for our organic farm because our lobby is so strong. And this is the next frame. If you want to have success in organic farm, concerning the financial support, you need a strong lobby. If 100 farms go to the minister and says, I want to have more money from you, then he says, yeah, I will talk about it with my colleagues, and nothing happens. In Austria, 10,000 farmers come in the form of BIO Austria and says, we want. And the farmer can't, the minister can't neglect it. If 10,000 farms come to you as a politician and say, we want, then you have to have such an ear. It was very funny. I had a colleague from Denmark, and Denmark is in many things for us a model if it goes concerning demand. We are very good in supply. We have such a lot of produce, organic produce, that we know what we're doing. But when it goes in direction demand, then we had such 344 euros per person in Denmark. There we are far behind. So we have these two systems, the push and the give. We support the supply, this is the Austrian type, and it's very expensive. If you support 20,000 farmers with money for that area, this is very expensive. The other idea from the Danish is, I don't have so much money, but I give you the money to public relations, or I give it to public procurement, I give it to the public canteens, and help them to sell organic products. It's a good way to do it. And so we have these two opportunities, and I think Poland, they should think about what they will do in future with the money they have, which will they support the demand, or will they support the supply. That's interesting. A little bit about our Austrian Organic Action Program. Of course, we will finance investments, we will finance advisory systems, we will support research. But don't forget, it starts in schools. If you don't go to the youth and say, what is organic, what is good for you, why organic, then later it will be more complicated. Because when the children go home and says, I've heard organic is good, and maybe, Mom, if you buy next time I come with you and I'll show you something about organic products. Sometimes this system is under-evaluated. This communal organic catering is the best public relation that or if you have on the table organic food and you like it, you will buy it later too. It's a very simple method. But in Austria, it's very complicated to get in public procurement. For instance, in my Ministry of Agriculture, no organic, not at all. And you go to the canteen and say, why don't we have organic? Oh, it's complicated. We need a certification system, and I think we can sell it normally with a conventional product. We don't like it. This is a very interesting statistic about which products are working and which not. If you see milk, perfect. Eggs, perfect. Bacon, potato, perfect. Meat? No. And I ask myself always, why do people don't buy meat? The simple answer is the price is too high. We talked about chicken, 10 euro, conventional, and organic chicken, 30 euros. I must say, if I see this, I buy vegetables, no chicken, because I don't want to have conventional, and the organic is too expensive. And this is one problem. And the other problem is organic food. People who buy organic food are very often very vegetarian or more vegetarian. They don't eat so much meat. And you see here on the statistic. Main drivers for organic products. Yeah, here we have the lobby, organic association, very important, not only for the lobby, it's very important for the advisory systems. Control must work. If you have a scandal that organic wasn't organic, it's a catastrophe for organic. Because organic lives from the trust. People must trust in organic, and if it's ruined, then it's very hard to build it again up. Here, you see here what we're talking. If you see organic products on the table of the canteens or in the supermarket around the corner, then it's the best advertisement, public relation for organic. For me, I'm the typically organic buyer. If I purchase organic products, I want to go around the corner and I buy this is organic, I buy it too, and this, and a soap, and maybe other articles for shaving water, I don't know. And organic milk too, and I see organic apples, that's good, I take it. If I would have to go to a market, like my father before, then I wouldn't do it because it's so far away, I don't have the time. So, what the future will bring? The environmental standards increasing. We have always a problem with our financial support, that it grows from up, bottom up, the higher standards. And we have to, and we can't pay so much subsidies for the areas. So, but if it's organic, then there's no discussion. We have a lot of measures in the framework of the agri-environmental program, and no problems with organic, because it's clear for the Commission. Regional and organic fits together. Of course, we're buying coffee and chocolate and bananas, but when we buy milk, then we want to have Danish milk, we want to have Austrian milk, we want to have Polish milk. Or should we buy something else? It's on the market, and regional and organic fits together. What we love more and more is animal welfare. I think it's one of the top topics. And concentration of the market. You have it everywhere, it's not only in the food sector. The business become bigger and bigger. And this we have this we have to pay attention. Yes, what the future will bring too, of course. Again, what else? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dziękujemy za przedstawienie austriackiej perspektywy na rynek żywności ekologicznej. Teraz o zabranie głosu poproszę pana Jana Groena, który przyjechał do nas z Holandii. Jest przedstawicielem Green Organics, producenta ekologicznych owoców i warzyw. Posłuchamy trochę o rynku holenderskim. Thank you for presenting Austrian perspective. Now I invite on stage Jan Groen from Holland. He is the representative of Green Organics, a producer of organic fruits and vegetables, and we will hear something about his organic market.
Thank you for your kind introduction, and thank you for the invitation to speak here. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago that I had to give the also presentation, and it was translated in Polish. It was much more difficult, I think. So I will lead you to my history and also with a look in the future. First of all, my name is Jan Groen. If you call it in English, it's John Green, or if you're in German, it's Jan Groen. So it was quite opposite that when the day I was born, I would end up in the organic scene. Welcome at Green Organics. And Green Organics is of course my last name and organic. I have a dream. I have a dream that in 2030 agriculture is 100% organic again. Is that a crazy dream? Maybe. Is it necessary? Yes, it is. That's my personal feeling. Therefore, I'm 24/7 active in the organic scene. So the logos are away. In 2000, I'm now working 36 years in the food and vegetable business. The first 8 years conventional in the auctions in Holland, and since 1995 I became the general sales manager of cooperative Nautilus in Holland, and 100% organic cooperative. And in 2000 I decided to start my own company, Green Organics, because I wanted to sell organic products to the market where the consumer demand is, and where the demand not is at that moment we have to create it. At the moment, the Green Organics Group is representing 7 companies, and they are all active in the organic food chain. So you don't see them here, maybe the names. You can go to our website and have a look at that. But we have a sweet corn company. We are also active with 2 companies in the green protein area, with soybean production for human consumption in Holland, and also with the falaba beans, and also in the after meat, you see that, meat replacing products. And I have a restaurant, organic restaurant, in Arnhem in the center of Holland, but it's not certified because of the cost. So we have 100% in the short chain. Farmers supply directly to the restaurant, and the meal, you get a surprise meal. You can order meat, or vegetarian, or vegan, and you get a surprise meal, and it's directly supported from the farmers. So this is a spinach field. It's always interesting. In 1996, when I was working at the cooperative Nautilus, there was no demand for organic spinach. And then I started with some farmers, I think 1 or 2 farmers, with 6 hectares of organic spinach farming in Lelystad, in the area in Flevoland, in the center of Holland. And we sold it. We produced it at the deep frozen factory, and I sold it to one of the baby food factories, the labels. And nowadays we are up to 700, 800 hectares of organic spinach farming in Holland. If you compare that to the market share, it's about 25–30% of the spinach in Holland is organically grown. That's quite impressive. It's one product. This is our mission. You can read about it and also on our website. But to make it in one sentence, we take responsibility as Green Organics for the whole product chain, from seed purchasing till consumer, till at the consumer. And we do that with a team who is ambitious, who is swinging, who is warm, and who is committed to the job, to the organic job, to serve our customers with the right products. We have our own field managers. You see here 3, but it's in already 4, because we also help the farmers converting or growing their organic vegetables. We tell them what kind of products they can grow for us. We will sell them the seeds. We will tell them when to sow, and we come with our harvesting company, not our own company, but our partner, to harvest the products. So I'm also active in the impactpreneurship, not in entrepreneurship. So we have to make impact. Fully 100%. I cannot, it's almost not the least. But it's all committed to the organic scene. Where's then 100% organic about continuous improvement? Because you can tell it's certified organic and we are ready, then we are the best. No, we are always looking for other varieties of products, other markets, and also what kind of products we have to do. Further development in our organization, further development in digitalization. What we can announce what is necessary for farmers is robotizing, because hand labor is very expensive. And that is and we make, of course, our product chains more efficient, because we sell huge, our customers are huge deep frozen companies or conserve industry, like glass industry, and the wholesale and supermarkets. So this is a harvesting machines in the green peas, which is mainly going to deep frozen factories and to the canned industry. Then where it comes up to IFOAM EU. So what are the principles of organic farming? It's health, it's ecology, it's strength and it's care. And that's through all the chain. So I will say in Holland, come back also to that, how we are organized as an organic movement. We also want voice in diversity. So we are connected with each other. And beneath these 4 IFOAM organic principles, or IFOAM worldwide, you can also say organic is soil bound. So we need the soil to grow our products because of the nutrition needs. This is about this is the development about making plans. Because if you don't have a plan, you need a structure. I come later back on the structure. But you need a plan. So you need a strategy, and the strategy needs a plan, because otherwise you come nowhere. 20th of May 2020, Mr. Frans Timmermans in the EU mentioned that in 2030 we should reach 25% of organic agriculture. That's not because he had a dream or he had a madness. No, we live in some kind of crises. Not only a water crisis, we have a climate crisis, we have a biodiversity crisis, we have a clean water crisis. It's crisis all around. But you don't want to speak about crisis. So it's also a health crisis when it comes to that discussion. So organic farming and organic consumption solves a lot of challenges or problems that we already face together. So with this EU Green Deal and this Farm to Fork strategy, what is already mentioned, that was our license to go further on the organic way of production. Because organic is a label, it's controlled by the government, it's EU by the same legislation, so it's quite good organized. And in September, the picture at the head, we brought our BIOEXPO 10-point plan to the Minister of Agriculture. Then that's our connection also to Denmark. We got a plan, a market development plan from Paul Hollenbeck, to give that also to our Ministry of Agriculture, to come up with a good national strategy plan for organic production and consumption, because of the EU Green Deal 25% organic agriculture in 2030, every EU country has to come with its national strategy plan for organic production and consumption. Nobody can go without it. So we offered our government already a plan for this market development situation. Then in the Netherlands, we are organized in the umbrella organization BIOEXPO, where the farmers are in with BIOhuis, farmhouse you could say, where Bio Nederland is in, that's trading and manufacturing, and also the organic shops are here. We have two organic retailers in Holland, Ecoplaza and Odin. Odin is more organic, dynamic, or Demeter organized, and we have several individual green shops. We are, because the logos are that's not so nice to see them, but we are also one of the main sponsors of the IFOAM EU, and also at Bio Nederland we are in the BIOEXPO is in the board of the IFOAM. As Bio Nederland we are a member and also discussing via IFOAM EU in the lobby in Brussels. As processing and trading associations, we do that via the OPTA, also via the OPTA. So we have two ways into Brussels and we cooperate a lot, IFOAM Organics Europe and OPTA, because you have to come together to the politicians to make the first step. And when it comes to structure, when you want to get more people into your business, organic seed, then we open that up via the Bio Academy platform. That's a portal where everybody can go on, you can make your own account. There you find a lot of knowledge carriers from organic farming or from organic production. So that's a lot of knowledge what is shared there. That's all about sharing knowledge, cooperating together, and to make connection if everybody who's interested. These are the figures from the Dutch area. In total acres we are somewhere about 80,000 hectares of organic agriculture. There's circa 3,000-4,000 hectares in conversion. That's slowing down now. So we had a lot of growth each time. I'm represented in the middle, here in Flevoland, and Flevoland is interesting. It's the old sea bottom. It's young, the new boulder land, and there's the agriculture, organic agriculture around 17% already. So that has a reason, because the government in Flevoland decided mid-years 80 already that they wanted to give more space to the organic scene. This is the total companies that are active now. It's almost 6,000 companies. That is farming, that's processing and trade, and also the shops. This is the total acreage. This is the total number of companies who are active. It's almost 6,000 now. Then the worldwide. So the figures of worldwide developments. I was last week in the US because there was the Expo East with BioEXPO America. The total sales in the world is now 134 billion euros. And the US is now the main driver of the organic turnover there. And also the figures about agriculture was already mentioned. Organic agriculture is also increasing in the European Union. Now these are figures from 2021, but it's increasing very fast. You can find all this information at the FIBO website. FIBO is a research organization in Switzerland, where you can get a lot of information. This is then we are now in Europe at 8%, 9% organic agriculture, and we have to achieve the 25%. The future of food. I hope you can read it, I can almost not read it. It's unreadable, eh? Yeah, that's strange. But this is the future challenges, I think, to come back. Then we come to the sustainability goals, what's already in 2015 made by the FAO. Organic is doing quite a good job on the positive things from the goals, from the sustainability goals, and also less reducing, less negative explanation. So the FAO and the IPCC, a lot of reports coming that we have to change our way of agriculture. Then the point is also what has the government to do. We need no fat on organic fruit and vegetables or organic food. We need less cost in the chain. So we need more support also on the sales side, we see, than on the farming side. Because we also believe that if we have more sales to the consumers, that the farmers will follow themselves. We have done a new organic nudging campaign together with Sweden, Belgium, Finland and Holland to make the consumers more aware about the awareness and what's organic all about. So it's a nudging campaign that we do that together on several groups. It's on milk or it's on fruit and vegetables, and we do that together with supermarkets to organize more sales. It's for the first time that's a campaign, commercial campaign with 4 different countries. In the future, we can because there's also a lot of new we have a positive story to tell, of course, with the organic scene. And we have a lot of solving possibilities for all the crises and problems that we see. What we are now, we are good organized, of course, we have good opportunities, and we have to go for more organic production. So it's clear that we as Organics want to play a main role in that, to go for this 100% organic world. That's what we stand for. I always say you should not judge the day about the things that you harvest, but on by the seeds you plant. So if you make a good plan, if you good structure, good strategy, then you can develop the market further on. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Ostatnim krajem, któremu się przyjrzymy, będzie Dania. Chciałem zaprosić na scenę panią Pernillę Bunga. No, if I speak it correctly. Posłuchamy troszkę na temat rynku duńskiego. Last but not least, the situation in the organic market in Denmark. We invite Mrs. Pernilla Bunga. She's International Market Director of Organic Denmark. Welcome on stage.
So, it's my turn, finally. Yeah, which way goes this way? Thank you for having me. I have chosen to call the organization Organic Poland because I have a dream too. I have a dream that we have Organic Denmark, Organic Sweden, Organic Poland, and that we, in that case, stands together as a European organic world against the rest of the world or with the rest of the world. Thank you for having me. Before I start, I want to ask you 2 questions. I don't want you to answer them right now, but maybe later on the panel. The first question is, when did you go to bed hungry the last time? One question. And then I forgot the other one, but then I remember. So I'm a little bit, yeah, I will start. That was one question. A very, very important question. When did you go to bed hungry the last time? Yes, and the other question is it organic that is too expensive, or is it conventional that is too cheap? 2 questions. Think about it. So, Organic Denmark. I have a logo on my slide. Fantastic. I didn't do that. So, what I want to tell you about a bit before is also something about our organization. And I know it's really sometimes very boring to hear about other people's company and how they do, but it's also to make you aware of how how much needs to be done and how it started, and also that we also started very, very small and a very, very long time ago. So there's hope for everybody. It didn't happen by itself and it didn't happen overnight. My colleagues in the business you just heard, they talked a lot about it. From farm to fork work is actually a very huge part of the Danish model. We represent in Organic Denmark the whole value chain. We are an NGO, we are non-profit, we are funded by the state. We make applications 8 months a year to provide money from the state to work for organics. So we have the farmers, we have the companies, we have food service, the kitchen, the public sector, hospitals, schools, everything, and then of course we have the consumers. When I work with companies, I always, when they want to export or when they want to sell their products, I always ask them to tell me who's buying the product. Because it's the main thing is that if you want to increase in sales, if you want to also double something, or when the European Union wants to double land and also consumption, you need to know your consumers. So we do a lot of things with the consumers directly in the market as well. They're very important. Very quickly, because I brought slides for you to stay for the next 4 hours, and I think you're not ready to do that, so I will try to see if I can do it in 15 minutes. We believe a lot in cooperation. When we started Organic Denmark, we were 6 people. It was 42 years ago. Now we're 60 people. I don't know what percentage that makes. But one of the main things about growing is also cooperation. So we have not only Organic Denmark, but we also have partnership and ownerships into especially farming. And because they are the ones who are providing the raw materials for us to make products to sell. We also have a very democratic structure. We have a board, we have member groups, but the main thing about this thing is that we don't sit in our office and think that we know everything. We actually have, for every category almost, we have working groups that is directly from the field that we meet with. They tell us what to do and not to do and what they think. So I mainly work in the group with the companies. We talk about markets, we talk about trends and tendencies, we talk about consumers, and they provide us with knowledge directly from the market. So we're not clever alone. We don't have a vision. I love your vision, about 100%, but we do have a more ambitious vision than the EU. We believe in 30-30-30, means 30% more farmland, 30% of the food consumption is organic by 2030. And I can tell you, there's a lot of work to be done. Even though Denmark is a leading organic nation, it's only with 13% and not 12.1%. This is a movie I do not have the time to show. I don't think so, and I don't think it's possible, is it? No. Sorry. So, when you talk, we've said a lot about the same things, and of course the UN goals are very, very important for all of us. It's not only for the organic sector. Having said that, it's also important for everybody to know, and when we say organic is part of the solution, is that organic talks into 13 out of 17 UN goals. This is also very important to tell the consumers once again. There was an amazing young woman, Greta, from Sweden, who really kicked our asses very heavily some years ago. I think that also make the UN goals stand out better, but actually organic has been working with these kind of goals like from forever, 40 years or more. But this is very important, and this is a huge part of our work. Of course, we cannot work all of them on the same time, but it's important. We also work with the organic principle from IFOAM, but we have tried to translate it into something that the companies can work with. I would love to speak to you about this. I would maybe recommend you to go to organic.com. You can see more about it. But it's the same, as you said, Jan, health and care and fairness. Organic, of course. I will not go through this and this. So the sales in Denmark has been increasing enormously since we started measuring in 2003. We have a small stagnation in 21, not a fall, not an increase, and I have been controlling last week whether we will still be leading organic nation because Austria is running after us very close to but no, you're not. You're still. Okay. So this is the picture of who is then in the 10, and I'm sorry that Poland is not yet there, but I love your increase is very interesting to study, as we do a lot on behalf of our companies. Having said that, come on, 13% being world-leading organic nation with 13%, that's not good enough. I mean, that's a little bit sad. Just to say that among us should be more, but that's what we're working on. So, So, what is the whole thing behind this is our organic red label. Was created 20 years before the European label. It is owned by the state. It's the only one we have. It's controlled by the state twice a year, from farm to fork, so that everybody can say that it is 100% organic. I can tell you that 89% of the Danes know this mark. It's almost better than a Coca-Cola brand. It comes from the work that we use it all the time, but it's not ours as an organization. We cannot put in our things that we want to say or attitude or anything. It's the state controlled. It provides a high level of trust, really, really important. So, just to put that into this slide as well, 50% of the Danes buy organic every week. No, buy organic, and 80% buys organic every week. So it's this mark has a huge part of the consumer trust, and also the way that we work with organic. We work a lot with organic messages. So, and that's the reason why we do that, is because having an organic label is a good thing. But that's mainly about what you put into your body. And we work with more than the organic label as an organization, or the green agendas that needs to come around it. And that's why we all the time communicate how organic is part of the solution. I don't know if that's so interesting, but it's still the organic market share, and it's funny, we eat a lot of bananas, but the reason why it's so high is because the retailers decided recently not to sell anything else but organic bananas and fair trade, so to support that. And this is just a picture from 21, and it changes of course all the time, but you can see that meat is coming on the table. That vegetables is in the model is also because there's a huge plant trend We work enormously with that with the support from the government. Because we want everybody not to just eat plant-based, but we want to eat organic plant-based, so then it makes sense. This model is a very, very important model for our growth in Denmark. We call it the organic staircase. It's a study based on facts. Of course, the things that are in the staircase changes, but we have studied the organic consumer. The organic consumer does only go up the stairs. They never go down again. Even in a crisis with the 2008 financial crisis, organic was the only thing that didn't go back. When you have decided to drink organic milk, you don't go back and drink conventional milk. That's a study, that's not something we just say. So we have in the first thing, we have the creators of traffic. That's when we help organic retailers. We tell them this is really necessary for you to have the basic products. Many retailers, they look at having a good offer on chocolate, a good offer on wine, but that only makes people come that one time. We need them to come back to the retailer again and again. And then we can see that milk, vegetable, fruits, eggs, pasta, I can read, and beer. That's kind of funny, and it's also something that had made us laugh, but that's because these products are from a study under Corona. And obviously people wanted to have a good beer at home, so we sold a lot of beer, but we put it in. But, so for example, when we go to a retailer and we control the gaps on the shelves, or we have to help them to create organic traffic, we put a numbers on them. First of all, number ones are the traffic creators, the basic. And then we have the other ones. And then I just got this 3-minute sign in my head. I have to... Another thing behind the success, all the logos are gone, is that we from the very beginning have been creating a very strong partnership with the retailers. They're the ones selling the product. So it's not to go into the business with the strategy, it's to help them with all kind of campaigns and messaging and consumer campaigns and figures and numbers and keep pushing them. We have 5 people working every day with the retailers to make sure that they are on their toes and to help them work with organic. And that's the model. We develop strategies, we make campaigns, events, in-store materials, merchandise, PR. We take care of make sure that they have product categories on the shelves. And one last thing, in Denmark we do not have special organic stores for special people. We have from the very beginning put in organic products directly on the shelves in every supermarket next to its conventional cousin, because we believe that if a consumer thinks that organic is expensive, they never go for organic. But if they stand in front of the shelves and can see that it's not true or not always true, they have the choice all the time. One of the parties that we knocked on the door 10 years ago is a discounter, Netto, because we also believe that a single father with 3 kids should be able to afford to buy organic. It's not for special income, it's not for special commission, it's part of the world, and I think it should be maybe the dream also that it was maybe conventional, that was marked, and organic is part of the nature. And as I said in a very simple word, organic, what is organic? Organic is food from the nature before we knew how to put in chemicals or things that make them grow faster or more shiny or etc. So yeah, that was a lot of ways that we put our organic label in place. So this is actually the companies themselves that use our label, use the label, in-store materials, events, tasting, outdoor material. Food service is a very important part of the whole game. We have the organic cuisine label. The government set a goal of 60% of organic products in the public canteens, schools, etc. During COVID-19, we went a little bit down, but we're really working hard on it. And in 2019, we won the UN Silver Medal for this whole pushing to the public sector. It increases. 3 marks, bronze, silver, and silver. Our export site is available on organic.com. We use it a lot to help our companies, and you can do exactly the same. Get inspired, see how you can contact and be around the world, not only in Poland, but also to push your products abroad. We have a lot of reports available for you. You can download them for free. The only one is the Danish market report. It costs a little bit of money. But we make a lot of research, make a lot of analysis, more value position in the shelves. And the nudging report, we were a little bit a year before you. We also made a nudging report. Those are the behavioral barriers. One of them is that the consumer knows a little about the benefits of choosing organic foods. If you download the report, you can read more about that. But that was very shocking reading. Though now we're working very hard with the barriers to come around them. What we found out is when we asked what they care about when they buy organic food, or what they would, whatever. Danish is one of the things, and you kind of read it, but they talk about food without pesticides, taking care of welfare, clean drinking water, blah, 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 and then organic. And if we had been better at our job, they would have known that they should just have brought organic from the very beginning. Because all these things, you have them when you buy organic. So, we tried to do, we did some testings in the supermarket because a free-range pig or a farm pig from Denmark sold better than our organic pig, so we just wanted to show how much more space an organic pig gets, and that increases the sales by 19%. Only with showing in another way why you should buy organic, yes. Actually, we did the same thing with lemons, and even though the lemons are one of the best sold fruits of organic in Denmark, it raised with 8.4% just by placing. This is it's another experience. Where did the lady with the sign go? I talked to her, she stopped me. So I can't show you the movie. You can go in and see it. I just want to say that young people are a very huge key of all this, because they care about it. They care about the world, they care about animal welfare, they care about the climate sustainability, and all of that they get into buying organic. So we're too old to acknowledge that they. And you can follow us on organic.com. And that's me. Bye. Thank you very much.
Dziękujemy za wszystkie prezentacje. Teraz krótka dyskusja, która mam nadzieję pomoże nam podsumować tę prezentację. Thank you for all the presentations. Now we are inviting to a short discussion that should help us to sum up some topics. We invite our lecturers to the stage. Przy okazji jeszcze, zanim tutaj wszystko rozstawimy, chciałem zaprosić Państwa jutro na 11:30 na drugą część naszego Forum Żywności Ekologicznej. Zaczyna się ono o godzinie 11:30. Okay, we are ready. My first question will be about the data, because all your presentations were full of data. And my question is, how do you collect them, and how did you create the system that helps you to do it? Because in Poland we have some problems with it, because Polish Chamber of Organic Food organized some collecting of data, but it is one time. We have not a regular system that collects this year after year, so we can see how it changes and how our strategy works. I'd like to ask you about your experience in this topic.
I want to say the secret. Is it on? No, that was a huge question. I mean, we have the statistics. They ask all kinds of questions about products and everything that we collect. The sad thing about that is, again, the state control is that the data, they are often very a year or 2 years old, so before we can talk about it. Then we have fever. We usually do a lot, especially about seeing the countries and seeing how they improve, and then we write always data into our projects so that we can have money for buying them through Nielsen, Causa, Ecovia, and in the end we put it all together ourselves because we have people who collect them and are educated into, and it's not me, I can say, for sure. But so a mishmash of many things, yeah.
Do you ask the companies about the data?
No, we don't, because the companies, they report into the statistics of Denmark, I think it's called.
So government collects the data from companies?
Yes, they have to write everything they do. They have to report, and then it's collected.
Okay.
In Austria, we run two systems. The first, the maybe well-known IX, Integrated Administrative Control System, needed to distribute area-bound premiums. And so we know every hectare very exactly which exists under this IX system. Nearly every hectare exists here under the IX system, and we knew them. So we can say we have so many potatoes, we have so many sheep, we have so many gooses, we have so many wheat and forest and so on. There's one part. It's very easy. What's more complicated, how many potatoes are sold in the retail markets. This we know about a research, let's say research institute, which have 2,000 households under contracts, and they deliver these 2,000 households what they are buying every year. And so it's it's nearly the sum what we can put together. We can estimate, looking at the whole data as well. It's an estimation for what households are selling, are buying. And these two data sets, IX, the system of subsidies, and the statistical methods of 2,000 households gives us an estimation of what's going on in the market of organic farm products.
Maybe IFOAM has a perspective from other countries that are represented here in this collecting data. IFOAM.
In IFOAM Organics Europe, we have a similar approach to organic Denmark. So we usually get data from FIBO, which is Research Institute for Organic Farming. And if we need more detailed data, and that's especially about retail and market, then we can purchase them. Then there is a different level of data that we produce, is the modeling. So what has to happen, for instance, to achieve something, as you saw in my presentation, what has to happen to, for instance, how much cap spending is needed to reach 25% farming, or if we have this 25%, what happens with nitrogen, for instance, in the environment. We usually subcontract specific research institutes that are specialized in this research. We know that there is a huge problem at the EU level, and we also asked the European Commission for ensuring that there is budget for data, because this is an ongoing discussion. It has been, I think, since I joined the organic movement, there is a challenge to get data updated and quite detailed. So this is one of the aspects that we try to bring to policymakers in Brussels.
And how does it look in Holland?
As in Holland, we have a commercial company who does that. It's called IRI. They get the data from the supermarkets, only not from the discounters, so not from Lidl and Aldi, but from the Albert Heijn and the Jumbo, from the bigger ones. Then they can get the sales figures. Also, a lot of, for the farmer side, it's not difficult because that's controlled by the government. Well, they grow every year, so the development in the growing sites is quite well, is quite easy. We have also some cooperations with the conventional associations. For instance, with the Food and Vegetable Association, they collect also data for conventional and separate the organic development in that. That's very good. In Germany, for instance, it's called AMI, AMI. They are also collecting on the sales. So, but there's no general research center that collects it all at once. The best one is FIBO, I think, about Europe and worldwide. But for the rest, in Holland we were in the past, a few years ago, quite lucky because we had more or less a hobbyist who liked to collect data and did find the right information. And that's, I think, a weakness in this moment that you can improve very well in short notice.
Okay, thank you very much. Before the next question, I'd like to say that we are open to the question from the public. So if you want to ask our guests, you can do it. Just give me a sign. The next question is about the system of the cooperation between the governments or the decision makers and business and your organizations. How do you perceive it? Is it work or not? And what can be done to make it better? How did you improve it during the years of developing organic market?
Very, very huge questions. Do you have for us? I think that from the very beginning it has been a part of the DNA of Organic Denmark to work to push the politicians. I would say that we never talk badly about conventional. Conventional, they are working within the law and they do nothing wrong. But we talk positively about organic. And it has been the same approach to the politician. To make them almost believe that they make the decisions themselves, with providing them with knowledge of how they can make sure that the Danish people have clean drinking water, or that they treat the animals well, stuff like that. So it's a lot of networking, it's a lot of knowledge, and it's also, we have a political team that works every day, and sometimes they're almost like crazy. When they found out that the fundings are going down, they run to the politicians and argument. We just had I think our Prime Minister yesterday told us that we are going to have an election. And now our political team is about to make organic like a political thing. They want the politician to take the prices on organic down, with the argument that organic The government earns more money on organic than on conventional, so they should put the prices down. That could just be an example of that, but it goes on every day. They are in the laws, they're in the team, they're networking, and even in my position, I am, part of my job is to be part of the foreign ministry and the food ministry. So when the food minister says jump, I jump. And we do that because we want to be part of what's going on all the time. So difficult to explain very shortly, but it's a very, very big part of our DNA to ensure money, to ensure rules and regulations, to ensure the decisions. We have to be present all the time.
So you have to work more with politicians or more with administration? Or it doesn't matter?
I don't know.
Administration, I mean a clerk, a person that is not chosen by people, but a worker of the ministry.
I don't know what with the administration part of it, but I don't know if I'm answering your question now, but I have to say that the organic label is owned by the state from the very beginning, and I mean it's like 40 years ago. Also gave us an advantage that they are in it themselves. I mean, they have been part of creating this organic movement themselves. So I think that administration is can be a negative word. I don't see it. I think it's very important that you want to work together. That it's not something you have to. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Driven by chemistry, driven by networking, and we are all on the same planet. It's not your planet or my planet, or it's everybody's planet. I mean, if I still want to have clean drinking water from my kitchen, I mean, it's also. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Okay, thank you. And how does it look in Austria?
That's Austria, so this is Holland. First in Austria?
Well, there are two topics, money and rules, and both are influenced by the lobbies. Rules means EU regulation, and this EU regulation is very strongly influenced by Europe. Let's say, by the European Commission. And that's the reason why the influence of Austria, or the lobby in Austria, is very poor. Because when Austria says, like this, and 20 member states say, like this, then Austria has no opinion in the direction we want to have. On the other side, we have money. So the lobbies come to us and say, we want to have more money for organic farming. And we say, yes, we have per hectare 200 euros. And they say, 200 euros, that's nothing, give us 300. So our calculations shows that it's a compensation of 200 euros. Okay. Then we go with 300 euros to the Commission because our lobby has convinced us that it's possible. And the Commission says, hey, prove me 300 euros, where do you have this figure? And so we go back to 200. So the cooperation between the Austrian lobby and the Austrian government is interrupted by the high EU Commission. So we can't do a little bit, respectively to Austria, but we can't dream of an own way for Austria because Austria is very strongly influenced by whole European regulation systems concerning regulation itself and financial support.
Okay, and Holland?
First Holland, then the EU. So in Holland we have, of course, as I explained already, the whole product chain combined in BIOEXPO, in the umbrella organization, farmers, trade processors, and retail. It's very important to speak as one voice to the government. And in the government you have, of course, 3 levels. You have the cabinet, who makes the end decisions. You have the politicians, who also, more or less, how reliable are they? And if you look in terms of time, it's otherwise of a lot of time other people, so that's difficult. And you can also go to the political parties. And I think what Panelu mentioned already, what's very good in Denmark, that we should communicate positive. We have the positive outcomes of organic, what helps also governments in the development in the right direction. And there also helps also this EU Green Deal. And the ownership of organic is in the policy. But in Holland, the policy didn't take this responsibility. So they put it in the corner and said it's organic and should look for the future yourself. Now it comes into the ministry also. So we have now a team of organic workers in the Ministry of Agriculture. They are our communication partners. Now we are going slowly forward. But we are still waiting 2.5 years after the Green Deal, 20th May 2020. In Holland there's still no national plan. And I also asked yesterday on Tuesday to Eduardo the general manager from IFOAM Organics, if they could come and sum up which countries from the 27 countries in Europe has already this national strategic plan, because it forces also to take responsibility and to work on the further development from organic together.
For Joanna, because you, I think, do similar things, but more on international, on EU level.
Yes, indeed. For us, there are 2 things. So, cooperation and network. Cooperation, because we are a lobbying organization, so we have nine specialist lobbies now in Brussels, but of course we don't do it alone. So we do it through our governance system, which means that we have council member in every country. I'm working now at Ursula, who is our council member from Poland. So every paper, every position, everything that we transmit to policymakers, we ask to our council members, and we do it together. What is also important here to tell is that we have different working groups. Farmers, processors, retailers, and certifiers. But it didn't, you know, we planted the seed a decade ago, so we had only farmers group. Now, in 2019, we established the last group that was retailers. It doesn't happen from one day to another. It takes time, and why networking is important, because I think as a lobbyist, I'm not a lobbyist myself, but my colleagues who are lobbyists, probably 90% of time they spend talking to policymakers, talking to our members, and also talking to our partners and sponsors. And these things that I think we can do now, we can achieve now, we have been building for the last 20 years. So the message here to the Polish organization that every grow needs time. And I myself very, very, very happy. I was happy to see Polish Chamber of Organic Food, how dynamic it is, and this is one of my favorite actually organizations in our movement, because it's very dynamic, and I believe that it can bring this cooperation, this network together in the Polish context.
At the end, it's all about people, like you mentioned. So it's people who make the business. And what Krystyna is doing here at the Polish Chamber of Commerce, you need a long drive, you need a lot of energy, because the doors are not opening for themselves, but you need to have a strategy and a plan and focus for that. You need a cooperation, and then if you have a community of organic ambassadors, then you will proceed.
When we are talking about people, I would like to ask whether you have a system of education connected with organic farming, and not only farming but also business, or you just learn everything by doing, or do you have schools of organic in the countries?
To give an answer on that, I mentioned the BIO Academy, so an online platform. That's for farmers, that is for workers, new workers coming to the manufacturing or in the retail, so it's on all levels with e-learning and also knowledge about that. And we are also putting a lot of lobby and effort to get in the schools more organic knowledge. That's what also already mentioned by Thomas. Also, you have to catch the heart, or to come in the heart in the young people. So baby food is already 98% maybe organic nutrition, because the children have to get good food. But if you start at the first schools with education about organic, then they will take it with them all their life.
I mean, not only consumers, but also, let's say, labor force. Do you have a system of education of workers that are connected with organic companies? And how you educate farmers? When do they get to know how to farm organic, for example? Yeah?
My experience, when I'm talking to a conference, people here, then it's for me very easy to talk with civil servants. And it's very complicated to talk with farmers. My experience is only a farmer can explain to another farmer who to farm, how to farm. And I'm not convincing. Maybe I know it, maybe I don't know it. But to convince a farmer to be organic can only the neighbor who is an organic farmer. And this is a system of advisory. We have these multiplicators. First we have a conference with farmers and tell them this and this and this, and then go out to the other farmers and tell them what you have learned and what are your experience. This is a way of advisory. Only the same level can teach the others.
Yes. First of all, we have education possibilities in the whole value chain. But if you stick to the farmers, we go out in the schools. We help them with applications when they want to convert from conventional to organic. There's a lot of debate. Their increase in turnovers go a little bit down for the first couple of years. How do we help them, support them? But having said with you, I would say that we have in our farm departments experts for trees, cows, pigs, soil, stones. I don't know, all the specific areas, and they go out in schools and educate them. They also help financially how to make applications. It's a very huge area to all the time pass on knowledge, and every employee in that department has a farm background, not necessarily an education within the different areas, and they're all PhDs too. And sometimes when they talk, I don't understand anything. We have an employee who works with soil 356 days a year. I didn't know, I never knew so much about soil. It seems really boring, but it's really interesting, but it's complicated and funny.
Okay. And Krystyna, the question for you is maybe not a question, but I would like to ask you to remind us a little words about Polish Chamber of Organic Food. What is it, how it works? And then I would like to ask our guest for the end to give us few tips. I know it wouldn't be easy, but what I would like to ask.
Okay, so basically what we do, we provide a lot of educational campaigns. We start to do it with European grants, but also with Polish grants, also with some money that we get as our chamber from our members. So we have a lot of small things we do every day, but we also have some campaigns that start and end some goals. We cooperate with I think what I wanted to ask you, Thomas, because you said that when huge lobby is coming to the ministry cannot say no. Well, but we are not in this moment yet. We don't have a huge lobby. We are so small for now, comparing to the food market. The organic market is so small that we don't have this lobby. And I think that the only way to go farther with this market in Poland would be to actually talk with politicians, parliament,
and the market.
The market we talk with, but I'm talking about the help from our ministry, because they always have something more important, because the market of organic food is so small. So how can we cross this border to become more important? How did you manage to do it so they started to listen to you?
There was once a manager of Rewe, and he said, 30 years ago, organic would be a good idea. Organic? What's that? Never heard. Said, I will do it. And the upper boss said, okay, do it. And he went to the farmers and said, I want to have a product in my markets, organic milk. Can you deliver it? Can you bring it us? And the lobby, BIO Austria, in Austria, says, okay, we try it. Try it, we have time, 1 month. 1 month, I want to have a result. I don't want to have 1,000 liters, I don't want to have 10,000 liters milk a day, I want to have 100,000 liters a day. You manage it, and then we have the deal. And I don't want to make small things, I want to have a big one. And it worked. They could collect 100,000 liters milk a day, and suddenly in every shelf of the supermarket was, ja, natürlich, the organic Austrian milk. And though it starts, and didn't start like this, I'm a little farmer with apples, doesn't work. You need a big volume which you can start. It can be apple, it can be milk, it can be eggs, something. But it must be present, this availability. It must be in the market, it must be in the view of the people. And the politician can not do so many. If you have this farmers with the milk, then you can go to the politicians and say, I have 10,000 farmers, 5,000 farmers, who produce organic milk, help us. But you must do the first step, because if you go, as I said, with 100 farmers, say, no, well, please give me money, say, okay, but sorry, don't have so much time.
Yeah, but I think the question was also about education, eh?
I know where the problem is.
And the question was about education. I think Cornelia mentioned already that you are in contact with 2 ministers. I think in Holland we have to deal with 7 different ministries, what connects or comes in the side of organic. So we choose our battles, you could say. If it comes to education, we have to be at the Ministry of Education about knowledge sharing. We get also, in Holland there's quite good money available for sharing education, more than for market development. And I think what Thomas said, what you mentioned, is if you want to start up the market, you need 1 or 2 drivers. Big drivers what makes volume very easy, volume and what the consumer catches also quite easily from the shops. And so there are different levels of options that you have to succeed.
I also think it comes from the demand. I mean, you have to turn it a little bit upside down. So because politicians, they need voters. They need somebody to vote for them, and they also need to be popular. So when I talk about catalog with advices, is to also study the population's need and wishes and tendency. What do the young people want? So if you can show or prove that the Polish population, they want clean drinking water, they want high level of animal welfare, or they want whatever they want, and you can tell them, this is what your population wants, and this is how we as an organization can help you provide that. I think they will listen more because they need to be popular in the population. Does that make sense? I mean, you turn it upside down. Instead of coming, we never came to just ask for money. We came to give them advices on how they could make Denmark greener, reducing CO2, more green energy, all the things around them. But as organic is part of the solution, they need to support organic. So it's, we all want to be popular. I think it's also a key just to have them positively. And then maybe they will think they made it up themselves. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's one of the tricks.
It's so funny what you said, because it's the other way around. I have an idea and I want to do this. And if you want to be on my boat, then hurry up.
That's a cue, I understand.
Okay, last but not least, maybe IFOAM has some words for us.
Yes, and I should tell here about the lobbying, right? But I think that a lot has been said, so maybe I will tackle that question about it from a different perspective. As a national umbrella organization, you also take care of communication to consumers, and actually consumers, they drive the market, and when the market is growing, well, the government starts to be interested, right? Like more VAT, more sales, unless there is zero VAT on organic products, then it's a different story. But yeah, it's a joke. I would say bringing more and more members to the organization and educating more consumers, which I believe is also a strong point of Polish Chamber of Commerce. And not only through public grants, but also through cooperation with companies. Our business model is based on 3 pillars. So we have 30% of public funding, because we believe that we work for public goods, so we should have public funding. So we have 30% of our budget is public grant. The other 30% is membership fee paid by our members, and the other 30% is sponsors who support and believe in us. And I would advise to go into that direction, because in this way you ensure that you take everyone on board, you can make independent communication to consumers, and you can still build a big network that then you can lobby to policymakers. But as said, this doesn't happen from one day to another, so of course it needs time, and the market will grow, and I believe that, and I'm sure that then the organization and the consumer trust will grow as well in Poland.
I think also cooperation with huge companies that are organic, because that's workplaces, that's taxes. They provide a lot of things that governments need. So if they support your organization, and they support, of course, organic, because they're organic, they also have a huge vote into politicians. And then again, consumers. If consumers stop buying, and I don't know how it works in Poland, but in Denmark, the government earns more money by selling organic than conventional. Maybe they don't think about that, but maybe that's your goal, to point that out. I don't know if it is fair, but I don't know. But there's a lot of things where you can, so cooperation, network, and standing together. I think that's the whole, that's the success behind the Danish model, is that we don't, companies and farmers, they don't argue, they work together. They don't, naturally we see them sometimes as an opponent. They fight each other because they don't understand each other. But they are working for the same goal. So networking, cooperation, and standing together with the big ones that has also a pressure on politicians' money.
Just a word. Just a word. You have expert for soil, pigs, wine, fruits, stables. But what you really need, in your opinion, is an expert for subsidies. And this is also, I was always talking with the BIO, our farm association. Hey, you need an expert to get the money. It's very complicated. You can't go to the minister and say, give me money. But which money? And then it starts. And you need an expert. If you ask for money, you need an expert for these subsidies.
It gives a lot of different opportunities. If you look to this nudging campaign, what I mentioned with Sweden, Finland and Belgium, the EU pays 70%. The other 30% they have to bring up as the movement. So as companies, it's a co-financing. So co-financing is also a good opportunity to get money from EU level or from the national government and foreign agents.
Thanks to this, we are all here together now. Thanks to this subsidies, we are here now.
And I would also say private sector, and I'm looking here at Jan Groen, because Green Organics is main sponsor of IFOAM Organics Europe, and this cooperation with companies is also very important because we are close to the market, we know also what are the needs of the companies, and if we want to grow the market, of course we need to grow the land, so it's about subsidies, but also we need to know what the business wants and try to translate that to potential initiatives or support that can come at the policy level. And I see this as an important point that should not be forgotten.
I just wanted to thank you because we need to end. I still decided that's the end of first for today. So I hope you all join us tomorrow with the next debate and program. And thank you very much, guys, for coming here and share with us your ideas.
Thanks also for the audience.